Welcome back to another video. Today, I'll be trying to make the former meta strategy viable even after some insane nerfs have happened to it in the past. Alright, first match here, we got a renowned menace to society, Snowy Owl, a living legend really. They're going ETN, and I'm just gonna say it now, they're going Tack Wizard Boat or something. I don't know what they go these days, but I know this is one of the most famous players in all of Battles 2. They've played more games than anyone else. Like, they've played twice as many games as I have, and y'all know where I'm at. I'll actually pop it up on the screen here if I can, but they've played so many games, and they still have allegedly not improved very much at all. But we'll see how they are doing. Start out with their ETN. Since they're doing an ETN start, no reason really to anti-stall because they already have their hero down. ETN tack. Alright, I mean, I will say that's not a very awe-inspiring tack spot there. Although if they're sending blues, I don't think I'll be able to get my hero down. I think I will actually anti-stall against blues. But we'll try. Come on, come on. Oh, not quite. Unfortunate. That's fine. Round 2 Jericho is just as good as round 1. You don't really gain anything with Highwayman for getting it on round 1. In fact, it can sometimes make it more difficult to line up your timings if you can accidentally use your ability too early. So round 2 is completely fine. One thing important about round 2 is that on round 21, you have to remember to buy your level 10 ability for 200 bucks. It's usually just completely worth it. Alright, if they send me yellows... Ooh, hotshots on their side. Okay. Yeah, they're definitely not beating the allegations so far, but... See what their plan is for round 5, because that's definitely not going to cut it. I mean, hotshots, wizard... Like, look at those monkeys. They have prestige 5. They've played so many games. And you'd think that with that much trial and error, they would have improved significantly, but... There's actually been rumors in the past that they are some sort of AI, but they've never been confirmed, and no one's ever come out and claimed to be the creator of Snowy Owl / DG Longley. But they still play every day. I don't know, like, how much they play every day, but they're definitely very, very active. With that many games, like, someone did the calculations, it was around, like, 30 games a day since release on average, and that's only been going up recently instead of going down as it should be. But whoever they are, they're definitely not getting bored of the game at all. They're definitely not burnt out because they're still playing the same towers after all this time. I believe they have a Prestige 6 tower on one of their towers. I'm not sure which tower they have Prestige 6 on, but I believe they have it somewhere. Maybe boat, maybe engineer. They gave me thumbs down. They're mad that I stole from them. I mean, it was quite rude of me, but you know, they used to run Highwayman Jericho. How are you going to be a former Highwayman Jericho player and be upset? One of the most famous Snowy Owl clips is when Snowy Owl was facing former Battles 2 streamer Spoon Oil, and with Highwayman Jericho, they sold Spoon Oil's Monkey Pirates on round 11, and he died, and it was very embarrassing for him, but it was a very iconic moment. Comment down below if you want me to make like a compilation of the most iconic Battles 2 moments, whether from my experience or just from other channels, just in general, because I think that would be a really fun video to make. Anyways, they get their shimmer for the camos that are not coming and that their ETN can pop, so good on them. They're definitely saving for the Necromancer. And notably, one thing about their playstyle that is incredibly bad and something that you should avoid doing is they do very little eco. For an eco strategy, like it's Tack, Engineer, Wizard, I think, they don't get enough eco. They get very little eco, and they just save up straight for their Necromancer early on. And like, if they had just gone harder on the eco earlier, then they could have had the same amount of money on hand with just more eco, which is just a million times better. With the pre-bought ETN and Necromancer, there's no reason for me to really rush them. Just make sure that I'm doing okay on my side and start saving up for a bank. Like, one thing about their playstyle, like, they don't like necessarily make good decisions, but they make very consistent decisions like that will get them to the point of being in the late game. Like they're gonna buy a Bloon Trap, and that'll basically just completely rejuvenate their economy because of how good Bloon Trap is against Jericho. I will have to eco into that pretty heavily if I want to avoid them having an absurd amount of money. I could probably send them a rush, but it's risky because they can just buy a Ring of Fire and then basically negates any rushing chances now or in the future. Work on a second wizard. I think I'll actually save up money here for when they eventually get their Bloon Trap so that I can eco whites into it for as long as possible. They should get it up in an eco booster too here, I assume, but not sure. They are ecoing greens. They don't have it up yet, but they stopped eco, so I assume they're getting it up quite soon. Not quite. Oh, they're thinking I'm gonna save up and rush them, so that they buy their Bloon Trap. But you have ETN level 3, you have boost. Like, what are you worried for? Alright, I'm gonna start ecoing again because I feel like I could eco whites for a very long time once they buy that Bloon Trap. Maybe I start ecoing whites now, but no, I want to save my money for as long as possible. And also, like, as you can see, their wizard and tag placements are just so egregiously bad that it just makes you wonder, how did they even come up with them? But I mean, like, I gotta say, like, I did buy into the allegations of them being theoretically an AI. It's just, they play too goofy. Like, why are they buying a taxpayer in the back? Why are they not sending me eco? They're a pure eco strategy. I have no idea what their plan is, or goal. Definitely, for Moab, I would just buy an Arcane Mastery here and probably a Tax Sprayer. Arcane Mastery is such a strong upgrade. I think it's quite, not underrated, but like underutilized past the early game because like it's just so good at cleaning up Moab insides, like breaking down the ceramics and stuff like that. They pre-buy an Overdrive, like I'm not gonna rush them, although their Overdrive is in such a terrible spot that a fortified Moab would probably still be effective. I think I'll send them one on round 19 once I get the discount from the rounds and also from my Jericho. But right now, it's probably not worth the $2,000. If I had gotten Jericho in round 1, I would consider upgrading him if I had my ability up as well, but not really worth it. I am kind of low on cash here for my own fortified Moab defense, but I think they're gonna have to respond to this. Like, Overdrive in the back is not good enough. They're gonna have to tower boost. Alright, there's the tower boost. They should be fine with tower boost for sure. Yeah, they're fine. We buy a couple upgrades just so it'll be easier for me to upgrade. Then another one, maybe with some zebras underneath with the ceramics. What are they buying? Dragon's Breath. I mean, maybe that's... Does that defend? Or are they dead? I mean, they're alive. I gotta say, I mean, they didn't die. Alright, my bank is full. So I will be upgrading to IMF loan this round. I don't really want to eco anymore, so I'll let them have their trap money for now. I assume they're going to send me, like, fortified ZOMG. That's generally their plan. I should probably be sending them one as well. Yeah, we'll do it. And if they send me one, I can just send it back towards them. Alright, that's a regular one. Plan will be against this to, I guess, get a Super Maelstrom. And decoy, send it back towards them. And maybe I just need 2 Maelstroms. Alright, we're fine. I thought it was a fortified one for some reason, so I thought I needed a Super Maelstrom, but completely fine with just a regular Maelstrom. Here, I'll get a Super Maelstrom just for fun. Yeah, they all let me ceramics. Pretty much expected. Then more, they're dead to AI. Yep, we win. I mean, it's kind of predictable how they play, but they, you know what? I'll give them some credit. They made it to round 24, which is more than I can say about a lot of Palm players. So catch you all the next match. All right, next match here we got Lydia the Human. She's a good friend of mine. Make sure to give her some love in the comment section. Salmon Ladder. I think I'm willing to play Salmon Ladder just because I haven't tried sub-farm ice in this map since the nerf. Although I wonder if I really want to bring ice knowing my sub is going to be less effective. But I think it'll be fine. I think I could have some sort of Shards and Reactor combo with Sentai Churchill. But we'll see. Gonna start out with my ice as usual, just to get maximum eco. I think it's kind of interesting because you can either go for round 1 Sentai and have less eco but more hero levels, or you can get round 2 Sentai and have more money. And I like the money. Definitely gonna go with that option. Alright, looks like she's going for the round 1 Sentai option, which is definitely nothing wrong with that. Perfectly valid and reasonable strategy. But on this one, particularly with the good bend with the ice, like, I can't help myself but get my round 2 Sentai instead. Also, especially since like the levels are a bit less impactful, granted that Sentai himself isn't quite as strong on this map as like on maybe Sands of Time or Star. So if he was going to be able to solo most of the rounds for me, then maybe I'd be more interested in getting him on round 1, but since he's not, I'm not really very much opposed to letting him have a couple less levels than usual. Or really just like half of a less level. Maybe like $1,000 less worth of defense. Round 3, looks like we're both sticking with the red eco. I think since I've invested more into eco and I also lost money on the sell, she should be able to get her farm down now. Yep, just as I thought. And she's doing a lair on me. Not that it's going to do too much. Not too worried about it. Micro to first tier. Perfect. Leak 1 yellow balloon and a couple blues? Nope, we don't. Leak 1 blue. She is relayering. I think the lives are just not really worth it for the money, but she is obviously in disagreement. Like, okay, 5 lives there. Do you think that's worth your what? Couple $100 of inefficient eco? I won't stop you. And we're actually ahead in farms momentarily. But I think she was just choosing to wait on her farm upgrade because of the weird interaction with the time in the round. I didn't really get any extra bananas from that, so hard to say. Round 5, we're pretty much tied on farms. I think I should be up a bit in eco, but she is choosing to lair on me once again. I will buy a sub. And micro my Sentai once again. Yeah, 010 sub, definitely going to be quite strong for me. We'll need a couple upgrades on it in a minute. Oh wait, I just realized that's actually the spot that I wanted my eventual reactor at, so I will have to sell that come the time for the reactor, but that's fine. And, or actually, maybe my reactor could be like here. Yeah, and this will be my base sub that I'll just leave on first. Base sub, not going to be good enough to deal with the blacks. I think if I send her constant blacks, not the fact that there's an immunity, but the fact that it just is a lot of RBE will cause her to trickle leak, so she's going to be a bit ahead because she's bought less defense, but I think I might still have a touch of an eco lead. And also I have a bit of a stronger defense going into the rounds that could potentially be pressured on. 00 sub is doing fine for me as well. Yeah, like I said, she's leaking a little bit. She ended up getting a second sub on her own without me layering or anything. I think I will opt to switch back to white eco now. And I imagine she may follow suit. Get my plantation up here in a moment. Yep, perfectly in sync. And start working on a reactor maybe. Or get a little more farms. But no, it's not really going to help me that much. She goes for another farm. I'll just eco zebras, which is going to be... Alright, forces an airburst. Interesting because ultimately I feel like airburst is... or AP darts, I guess, is not really the defense you want. I could greed for my valuable bananas, but I guess that's just not really worth it. I am going to keep this sub here to upgrade it to potential ballistic or something later on. Oh, and she's running bomb. Okay, that makes a bit more sense as to some of her decisions earlier in the game. Turbo damage, laser bombs, and reactor. Are we fine there? I think we're fine there. Just barely. But a defend is a defend. I will boost this. And she Bloom boosts as well. Alright, we are in trouble here. But I have a plan. The plan is be okay. Defend, defend. Oh my god, we go down. It was a good game, but yeah, I feel like the nerfed sub just makes it really hard to defend with just the sub and the ice, because I bought around $8,000 of defense. It just wasn't good enough, but we'll see. I mean, I think I might end up switching to bomb just for the sake that it even has a pretty strong late game with the Bloon Crush, but I'll catch you all in the third match of the video. Alright, third match here we got Bubba Blitz, which is apparently they're kind of a big deal. Their clan name is Amazing Bots, which makes me think that their strategy and skill will not bode well for the sake of being a strong and worthy opponent. Anyways, they're running Cyber Quincy. I pick Highwayman Jericho with Tag Farm Wizard. I've been trying to think of more creative and random strategies for the maps that I play, but Tag Farm Wizard is so much fun that I just love playing it, so I'm not really too excited about changing it up. Alright, they do start out with Red Eco, which means that I can go for my round 1 Jericho, which I think is worth it if you have the chance and you don't really care too much about anti-stalling. And against Cyber Quincy, I think it's actually more in my benefit not to anti-stall as much, because I want time for my abilities to come up off cooldown. And get my Jericho down in a second. Okay, 18 bucks. Ready to send Green Balloon as soon as the round starts. Alright, they bought their super range. Get my faster shooting up. And for some reason they're not sending me green balloons. Like, are they running some sort of eco strategy? Like, I'm confused as to why they're not, but I guess we'll see eventually. Actually doing quite well in the life count here. Usually you trickle leak a little bit, but if your opponent doesn't send any balloons, then obviously that's not something that's too likely to happen. Are they going straight for a blade shooter on round 3 with Cyber Quincy? Okay, they go for the farm. Okay. I can be convinced that they are a competent player. They're going for farm. I got my own farm on my side, and they got one on theirs, so. And they're getting their upgrades, but I feel like the early eco is just as important, if not more important, than early farms. Like, if they don't send me around 5, I'm not buying the upgrade. They get their blade shooter up, but I just don't feel that they need it yet. Like, they have good farms. They have great farms, but they don't need these farms. They can get them in the second, but they need to send me white balloons. They need to send me pink balloons in round 4. I don't even have my faster shooting, I just realized. They let me greed that much. Like, do not let your Highwayman Jericho opponent greed for a 2-0-0 farm, or 1-0-0 farm before round 5. Just sending regular eco will force me to buy so much in relation to not. And then you also just get eco, so it's a win-win-win-win-win. Although, maybe their plan is that they're going to go for an early bank, which I guess this strategy would make some sense, because they did end up eventually force my defense, so maybe they don't care, and they just want the early bank, and the bank ramps faster than eco does. Which is true, it does, but it doesn't make it worth it to do, because I can just make you sell that bank. And they're also just going for a wizard, they're not going for more farms. Like, girl, you do not need a wizard. You have Cyber Quincy. I need a wizard, if anything, before you do. But they're just, like, playing scared is a reasonable way to play if you're a bit of a newer player, but it won't really get you anywhere. Like, they get their plantation. What am I going to send them on round 7 that's going to force them to buy a wizard? Like, I'm not sending a bunch of yellows into Cyber Quincy. What are you running Cyber Quincy for if you're going to pre-buy your defense anyways? Anyways, I think I'm going to stop eco. I'm very far ahead on eco, and I do not want to be too far behind on the farms, is my idea here. I am willing to tower boost in order to get away with this farm, because right now in this situation, they're down on eco, they're maybe up on money. They should be sending me Regen Zebras and forcing my tower boost or a lot of defense. And, okay, well, I accidentally let my Jericho tech bot steal when I didn't quite want to, but we'll be fine because I think they're too scared to send me a rush. Get my Necromancer up. Although, I don't have any graveyards, so okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to Maelstrom here. Since I didn't have any graveyard at the start of the rush, I did have to sell into my Maelstrom there, but like ultimately I'm gonna be fine because I just have so much eco and I can even afford a bank there. And they don't have any money for a re-rush because they don't have any eco building them up money during rushes. Also gonna prepare to buy back a Blade Shooter for a re-rush. I'll boost here. I also, notably, I didn't boost the first rush because I knew that since my Necromancer started at 0 graveyard, the boost wouldn't be enough since the Necromancer balloons wouldn't be, like, juiced up and powerful. Also, I just realized they do not have a Necromancer on their side, so, you know, I was shaming them for being too safe, but they didn't even buy our Necromancer and I didn't even realize, so. Are they just dead to my tiny lead rush? They boosted and Quincy abilitied. Looks like they're alive, but very tentatively so. Mix in some leads and purples and rainbows, and they're gone. It's over. I've won the game. That's the most Kuro Maelstrom I've seen in a minute. Anyways, that was definitely a game. They set a very good example of how not to play Tack Farm Wizard, and I'll catch you on the final match of the video. Alright, fourth and final match, we got Lydia once again. Definitely grateful to have a real sentient opponent, as opposed to some of the other matches I've had today. Castle Ruins, I think, is alright, but it's not really a fun or interesting map. It's pretty much just do this, do that, do whatever. Oasis, I think I'm going to try something that I haven't really tried a lot. I'm going to try Subfarm Ice with Sentai Churchill, which I'm hesitant to leave out Jericho because I would lose very hard to Dartling Druid Village, but like Lydia would never do that to me. She's too nice. And I think, yeah, I mean, just I want to make Subfarm Ice work. It's just such a fun strategy. It's my own creation, and I don't want to leave it behind, even if it's been nerfed, because it's just so much fun. And like other people made it meta, crazy, annoying. Oh my god, she actually is taking me Dartling Druid Village. Alright. Well, we'll see what we can do. With Sentai, anything's possible. Maybe I'll be the one to GG her around 40. This spot doesn't leak, right? Perfect. Oh my god, beautiful spot. She has a Prestige 4 Dartling. That is remarkable. And maybe a sign that she needs to expand her interests to things outside. I assume she gets Oben down? Yeah, Oben. Get my Sentai down. Immediately get to anti-stalling. What would be good for me is if I can make her leak quite a bit before being able to get any druids down. I think it would be very favorable because then she can't randomly move her Hydro Rocket Pods around to leak to camos. I think I'll actually even Bloom Boost here, just to try to get her to chase. Perfect, yeah. So she's leaked to like 40, 49, still leaking. And that's perfect because she can only get a very minimal amount of life buff before she ends up going for Spirit of the Forest. And once she goes for that, she obviously doesn't want to sell it, and then she will have to somehow leak with all the vines on the screen, which is near impossible to do. I've done it though. Yeah, in one of my much older games against a former top player, we were both going Druid Farm and sub, and I had my Spirit of the Forest up to defend stuff like DDTs. It was back when Spirit of the Forest was quite broken. Oh my god, she's going farm. Is she going Open Dartling Farm Ninja? Oh my god. You know what? I can't believe I doubted her. I can't believe I doubted that she would stoop so low as to go Dartling Druid Village. She would never. I don't know what I was thinking. But I leaked once with Spirit of the Forest on the screen. I leaked around 28 fortified DDTs, and I was able to get life buff on my Superstorm, and it ultimately resulted in me winning the game from a completely losing position. And Yeah, the opponent I was facing, who goes by I'm Lost, he was very upset and called me his dog afterwards, which is weird because clearly I defeated him, which means he was my dog in that situation. Anyways, go for my ability here as late as possible. Well, not quite as late as possible, but pretty late. I almost fat-fingered my boost button, which would have been very unfortunate, because I need those. I like having tower boosts. So the main weakness of this strategy in the late game is the fact that you can't really do much about the ZOMG insides for fortified BADs. Like, you don't really have a plan for those because First Strike is always targeting strong. Sentai Churchill is always targeting strong. So unless there's fewer than 5 fortified BADs on the screen, Sentai Churchill will only target the BADs and won't go anything for the ZOMG insides that are leaking. And I think what would be really interesting is if you could target Sentai level 20 to first and have it shoot at the ZOMGs and then basically save your life instead of going for the BADs that you have First Strike for. I think First Strike doesn't need that at all, but I think it'll be interesting for Sentai Churchill as a bit of a buff. Because, I mean, in most situations you have something that's very strong to deal with the ZOMGs, but uniquely in this strategy you just don't have anything to do that with. Anyways, I go for my plantation, she goes for hers. I think zebras will be a real problem for her. I don't know how she's meant to defend regen zebras here without boosting. And then if she boosts, it'll put her in a tough spot round 11 because she needs her Hydro Rocket Pods. I guess not right away because she has Oben to help out with lead balloons, but like I get 1 lead balloon pass, now I get white balloons. Force Hydro Rocket Pods. Alright, got it. Perfect. I have no interest in rushing Hydro Rocket Pods with Oben's Totem on the screen. Oben's Totem is very strong. Happily we'll use my ability here, and I want to make Reactor work, but Reactor is just so bad. Good enough to beat a smaller rush though, and I knew it. So I think maybe Reactor Ice Shard is not the way. I just go for Reactor Ballistic. Or I go for a Reactor and sell my second sub for a bank. I think I like that option quite a bit. Alright, let's see. Does she go for the punish? No, she goes for the bank of her own. I think as she should. Although I would definitely be very ready to punish her. Round 15 bank. Definitely she has the facilities to get away with round 15 bank. I mean, from a logical standpoint, with Oben, one would assume that she's going Darling Farm Druid, but I know her too well. I know she's going Ninja. Even though she hasn't shown it, even though, like, she just is. It's just a fact of life, really. I did reveal my Ice Star on round 1, so she does know that's my third. Not that really anything else would make sense. Like, Bomb. I guess I am known for going Bomb sub farm with Sentai Churchill, but it's just not really something that it's not like it's bad, but you don't have the overpowered 50% cooldown Monkeynomics, which is basically what makes sub with Sentai any good. You have the Balloon Crush late game, which is much stronger than Ice in the late game. Like, even with the half cooldown on Sentai 20, I would say Bomb is stronger than Ice in the late game, with the exception of the amount of money that you have. So, with the absurd amount of money that you get from Ice, Ice makes it probably stronger. If you can figure out something to do about those ZOMGs, it makes it stronger, but no, it's really just tough to justify bringing Bomb, even with that advantage. Although in a mirror matchup, if you could stay only a little bit behind on farms, like, you can probably just destroy them with Bomb in the late game. I guess, yeah, so like, there's really no point, thinking back to that previous game on 7 Ladder, to bring Ice instead of Bomb, just because Bomb helps you in the early game, and Bomb, like, Ice kind of folds, shrivels up and dies to 1 F-bet on round 30, no matter how much money you have. Not because of the F-bet layer, but because of the ZOMGs underneath. Alright, I do want to work towards my IMF loan soon, so I will pivot to more yellow eco just to save up more. I doubt either of us are planning on sending anything. Like, she has a big old bramble pile that will pop any fortified Moab with relative ease, and she can also just buy Laser Shock. And for me, I have Sentai 3, I have Sub, and Sub just has really efficient Moab damage. So I do need to get need to get my IMF loan this round. Which is a bit concerning because she's also definitely sending me a fortified BFB. Regular BFB. No, that's fortified. Get my sub. For this, I think I can get Snowstorm for the insides. Will do pretty well. Over here. I actually can get top half. Does the Snowstorm increase the range? Okay, I guess not, actually. Scary. Scary. Okay, I'm not sure. I think I may have to just go for an Energizer here in a second, because round 24 ceramics are a big threat for both of us, so. Although, no, I remember that defense. Okay, she's all adding. Oh my god, that was scary. Pocket attack, crazy. Go purples. Dead. Surely. Oh my god, she pulls it off. I mean, incredible defend by her. Round 25, I should be fine. I think I can just Snowstorm in range of Energizer, and it'll solo everything with Sentai on last. Yeah, like, I mean, it does enough damage. It doesn't do a great amount of damage, but it does some damage. Get my IMF loan up. Send some leads her way, or not leads, black balloons her way to fill up the tree a little bit. Just so that she can get less money from it. I think she goes for the Monkeynomics there. Yeah, she does. I can't really punish that. The only way I can punish that is just by out-greeting her. Once I get my own Monkeynomics up. Which I think should be pretty easy. She can just get Bloon Sabotage and stall Tower Boost, then get trees back. So DDTs aren't really worth it at all on my side, I feel like. My move here is just save up straight up for the Monkeynomics and then buy it. She is quite ahead on the farms. Like, there's a consideration for just buying the Monkeynomics and stalling as much as I can, but I do have a plan. I do have a plan for what I can do. I do need to afford a Monkeynomics first, but I have a plan. I know it looks bad. I know it looks like I'm down horrendously, but keep in mind, I have a whole Energizer on the screen. I also never really had a chance to replace my Sentai Churchill on the water, just because I need every single dollar I can get right now. And the level 10 ability doesn't come back to you right away. Alright. Alright, okay. Doing some calculations in my head. Round 29. Pretty long round. Alright, after... I do need my... She goes for type BFBs. Type fortified BFBs. Very unfortunately for me, I do have to go for the level 10 ability there. But I think I should be able to get it back. Alright, I need monkey dynamics. Are we fine here? I have a plan. I'm not out of it. It looks dire, but I'm not out of it, trust me. Oh my god, I don't afford it. I think my main mistake this game, like, I've died. It's over, I think. I didn't have the time to get back my Sentai 20 on the water, and it really cost me everything. I needed it on the water. Yeah, that's it. I also never took the time to pressure her when I maybe should have, but that was a very good game. Hope you all enjoyed. Subpar mites, it's so hard to make it work. Like, it's still my strategy, and I really enjoy it, but it's just been so severely nerfed, and even with just one small nerf, it basically kills the entire strategy. So, catch you on the next one.